Darcy Todd says his speed dating business is booming.
Straight out of lockdown, everyone was just looking to get out. So the market was just primed for it. Like I tried one and it just filled.
All right, Darcy, would you like to introduce yourself? This
Hi.
is Darcy, and today's interview is about Darcy's rise to Melbourne's most popular event host.
Thank you.
And at the moment, his niche is speed dating.
Yes.
So in the field of finding true love.
Yep.
And I have witnessed some of the moments where, couples walk out of the event hand in hand, telling me that they've had a great conversation and how great the event is organised, how, smooth sailing it is from the moment of getting the ticket to searching for the event online.
Yeah.
The whole process is just nothing other than smooth sailing. So I just want to know, how did you first come up with the idea?
The idea wasn't mine. So I'd been to an event before. I actually went at one of my friends. So I always wanted to go speed dating.
Yeah.
Because they line up single women. So I thought there'd be nothing better than just meeting a lot of single girls in one night.
Makes sense.
I went to an event. I paid $70 for a ticket. And there was 12 dudes and only 6 women. It was actually really terrible. So I still had a lot of fun. I was chatting to the guys, chatting to girls, making friends. And then I met this other dude there. I actually made my best friend. I just moved to Melbourne. I'd made a friend. I'd gone to this event. And he asked me about it. He's like, how's your night going? I was like, look, I don't know anything about this. Honestly, I've been a personal trainer. I run some boot camps. And all I knew is that if you could run an event this terribly, if that was the starting point, I was like, well, surely I could do better.
Oh, okay. So you've definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
So it started off with you attending an event, and then you thought you could do better.
Yeah, so I went to an event, I thought I could do better, and anything that you want to do in life, you're not going to know how to do. You'll have no idea.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, I don't know how to do that. And then they say, I'm either going to study or I'll learn or I'll think about it, I'll do some research, and they never do anything. Whereas if I get a dumb idea, I'll just take action on it. Even if it's going to go badly, I just start doing it.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, okay. So how long have you been running the hosting company?
It's probably been about 2.5 years, so fairly recent.
Okay.
The first one I ran, I was a personal trainer and I wanted speed dating. So I put one in the middle of both of those. I came up with a speed dating workout.
Wow. Let the audience know what that was all about, because that sounds super interesting.
I Googled speed dating workout because I was like, this is so dumb. And I was delighted to see no one else had done it. So I just, I Googled it and I thought, no one else is this stupid. I want to be the first one to do this and whack it up there.
And since then, you've sort of trial and errored, right?
There's a lot of error. That first one, it was error. So girls are normally pretty and they don't want to sweat and look gross in front of a guy. They're not about that. And that's exactly what a speed dating workout would be. It'd be looking gross while meeting someone. And the girls are just they do not want that.
So you've realized in the end that because for a successful speeding dating event, both guys and girls will need to feel comfortable in the setting.
100%.
Right? And then you realize, girls are all about, oh gosh, am I presentable in front of the guy? Yes, I would agree that being sweaty and smelly and whatnot.
It was actually so hard. I didn't understand what I understand about marketing today.
Yeah.
And it was actually so hard getting enough bookings for this event. I only wanted 40 people, 20 guys, 20 girls.
Yeah.
But even finding that was an absolute stretch. And the guys booked, but it was just not many girls. I resorted to individually messaging and asking people one-on-one, which is the worst way to market. It took me 3 months to fill this one event. And it was traumatic and it was stressful, and I gave the last half of the tickets away for free. I could not fill this damn thing. And it was such a stressful ordeal that I put myself through that I actually said, no, this is awful. And I did not attempt another one for a whole year after that. I did it once. I was like, No, I just gave up
Oh
on it.
wow! See, the journey to starting your own business is never easy.
No,
That's
definitely
what
not.
we take away. But I think what's inspiring is that after the failed event,
Mm.
you were like, oh gosh, like, do I go again or do I make it better, right? So
Yeah.
tell me how you then got over that, failed moment and decided, you know what, I'm gonna attempt again, but maybe in a different format, right? So I know now that it's in a different format.
Yeah, more traditional, more
correct.
Conventional.
And I've seen
Not as many workouts.
yeah, and I've seen how successful these events are because they're just sold out. So which I will be sending the link, including the link of your company.
Yeah.
So people that wants to find true love, I think definitely hop on and give it a go because people are like finding online dating really toxic and really not real.
Yeah.
Or people ghost them. Like people may see a profile and then eventually it's like they never meet up.
Yeah.
Or it's like a fake profile.
Yeah, if you don't know it's real.
Right,
Or filtered.
Or filtered.
Or photos only from here up.
or photos, blurry photos that you really can't see, who I'm potentially wanting to get to know.
AI generated photos.
Oh my goodness, the works. Now, did you first start in Melbourne, or did you, want to start in a different section of Australia?
No, I started in Brisbane, so I started working in gyms in Brisbane. I always wanted to do bars, but I was too nervous. If I start doing in bars, I did in Brisbane where I lived, my home city.
Okay.
Then people would find out if it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I used to run gyms. I became a personal trainer, so just training one person at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I did so many of them that you had sessions throughout the day, and your whole day was just book solid.
Mm.
You training clients basically for your job at the moment.
Mm.
But once I could only do 10, 12, 15 max, and I was just burnt. My whole day was spent. So the next step for me was, how do I get all those people and combine them to a group and run a group training fitness session? So that was my first start into how to get an event. It wasn't an event, it was a group training session.
Mm.
But again, I didn't understand marketing back then. I was very nervous about getting started.
Mm.
And I didn't tell many people I was going to run a boot camp because I didn't want them to know if I failed.
Oh.
So on the day, only one person turned up.
Wow. So how did you still just swallow that pride and roll with it?
Oh no, I wanted to give up. I literally said to her, I was like, there's no point in running a boot camp with one person. So I was just going to give up. But as luck would have it, she was this amazing lady. She was a friend. I'd known her before. That's why she came. She's just a good supporter.
Yeah.
And she's like, I came here. You're going to train me. It's going to be great. Let's go. And I was like, oh. But I ended up running it.
Yeah.
And it's basically just a one-on-one PT session. It wasn't a boot camp. It was one person.
Yep.
And on her way home, she hopped onto my Facebook, because I had a Facebook group, Facebook wall. I did a little bit of digital marketing back then, but not that much. And she was like, great workout, so much fun, love the exercises, see you next week. But in her review, she failed to mention that she was the only person. So to anyone else seeing it, they thought, oh, must be a cool thing. So she half advertised it for me. But what she did was she gave me that confidence that even though I wanted to quit on that first day, I was like, she's like, I'll be back next week. You better have more people. And I was like, oh. And she's like, I'll see you next Saturday.
What a lovely lady, obviously it was meant to be a group session.
Yeah.
She rocked up on time and she just encouraged you to keep at it. She was like, oh, it's okay, big deal, You didn't have that pulling power, the huge crowd at the beginning, but eventually you worked your way up. You thought about it. You thought about how to get your events across to, the wider public.
100%.
Right? And I think off camera we were talking about ads, right?
Oh, there's a multitude of ways. And basically, back then I used to just do it through sheer force of will and personality, just telling people
Resilience, yes.
Just literally one-on-one, just using my personal network.
Okay.
These days, I'm just shifted completely the opposite way.
Yep.
Obviously looking after people so they come back, but the biggest way is just digital marketing, like
Okay.
how to get in front of them
Yeah.
on their phone, be it like Google or whatever, social media.
Can you let the audience know about, you know, the Google ads and
Yeah.
social media marketing that you eventually understood, that you know, you went to do some research on because you thought that's got to be pinnacle, right? Because how do you reach a bigger audience? How do you get this fantastic idea about being Cupid? Like you were playing Cupid. You know, you were trying to matchmake.
Yep.
You know, I think in a really effective way, because you're essentially saying, let's just cut the crap. Let's just get guys and girls in a room so they can just meet in person.
Yep.
Right? Instead of like swipe right, you know, on a Tinder.
Yeah.
And then never meet up ever. So let the audience know what that process was. Yeah, you know, that getting the word out there. Like, how do you reach a bigger client base?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of ways to get people together. And there is Google, social media, building a website, landing pages, sales copy, ads on all the social sort of things. But the only thing you really have to understand is how you think about it.
Okay.
So basically, I was a personal trainer. It's the same as a gym. People are like, how do you get ripped? How do you get a six-pack? How do you get buff? How do you lose weight? It's the same as them being like, how do I build a business? How do I make money? How do I scale something? It's not, oh, I don't know the correct social media strategy to build my following. It's you don't believe you're at that level of success. So for someone who says, how do I get a six-pack? Maybe I could research. So if they're like, how do I run Google Ads? Look, it's a very important thing. You have to do it. Well, it is what I do. But so what I'm trying to say is, if someone wants to get a six-pack, it's not because they don't know how. It's because they don't believe themselves to have one. So you're not going to be fit unless you see yourself as a fit person. You're not going to go to gym unless you see yourself as a motivated person. You're not going to stick to a routine unless you see yourself or you take daily steps to become committed to creating something. So the most important thing, and that's why we see business owners all the time. You go to a cafe and they've got this A-frame board out the front and it's like coffee, but it's half rubbed off. It's rained on it. And their sign is like not even, you can't read it. And you say to your friend, why don't they just write coffees properly, draw a nice picture, write it $4 or $5, and then everyone walking past would see this in this coffee shop, bang, would increase their sales by 20%. Or you've got a boss, right? And your boss tells you to work for someone. Yeah. They're like, look, we're dealing with clients like this, answer the emails, we do this. When we submit a performance review or when we submit a proposal, we do it this way. And we're having a morning meeting about it. And every employee in the room is sitting in this morning meeting, we're on our phones, and we're thinking, these guys who own this business are wasting all of our time, times every person in this room. They 1 hour meeting wasted for 20 people, they just lost 20 hours of production. Who knows how much money lost? Yeah. And we all think, if they just didn't run this job like an idiot, they would make so much more money. And what that is that's us looking out at the world. So we're all experts at looking out, but hardly any of us, me included, we're really, really bad at looking at ourselves. So you're right, if that coffee shop did change that sign, bang, it could make next year 120% of its sales for a bit of chalk writing. If your boss wasn't an idiot and just structured the proposals right, didn't waste half your day in dumb, pointless meetings, their business would generate twice the profit. But can I ask you why you didn't hit $1 billion last year? What steps did I not take last year that I didn't hit $1 billion? So it's not the steps of it, it's seeing your own stuff. And until you can see yourself, no strategy, no gimmick, no plan of how to build a business, any business will work if you work hard enough on it. The only thing that matters is the person behind it calls himself on their own bullshit and just chooses to make it work.
Wow, some good points there.
So
you recognize where your mistakes lie? and then you.
Well, I probably don't recognize many of them. 2% of my mistakes. If I'm just 2% self-aware, that's my first step. Next step, we'll get to 3% self-aware. And the closer you can get up,
It's a bit like that. Like, we're quick to call other people out.
we can
We're
constantly pick on other businesses,
Yeah.
but how often do we look at ourselves? Where did we waste money? Where did we waste time? Where did we waste energy?
That's right. With the same amount of diligence.
Yeah.
Do we question our own train of thought?
Or if you've ever
Our
picked
own.
on your boss, yeah, they're probably an idiot sometimes. But why are they your boss? Why aren't you the boss?
Yeah, okay. So you were always into entrepreneurship. You just wanted to start your own thing. You just obviously didn't want to work with someone not respectable, or that you didn't respect.
No, I respect
Right,
people. I just
as in,
wanted to
'cause
do
your
my
boss-
own thing.
Correct. But,
Yeah.
for example, you would find it hard to
I'm the worst employee.
work.
I'm not a good employee.
But that boss had to earn your respect by, not have a meeting for a meeting.
Yeah.
Really know how to lead, not waste staff time.
100%.
With a strategy or a proposal doesn't sit well with the operations.
The boss is doing
the
well.
company.
I once worked for a guy. He owned like 11 gyms. It's a good. I haven't even owned one gym yet. So he's crushing life. He's going well. He's got 11 gyms. But he's still operating to the maximum of his belief potential. So we have a sales meeting, and in the meeting, for example, this was like back in the day before I quit and started doing my own thing. You'd have a list and you'd be like, right, you need 4 sales at, you got like a 25% conversion, that's this much. And they calculate it back to, okay, today you need to make 150 phone calls. So basically a telemarketer ringing people. Hey, how's it going? These are like ex-members inquiries, just people who don't want to know you. And you're spending 8 hours on the phone to get 2, 3, 4 sales. Like, it is such a slow burn process. And every day we'd have one of these meetings.
Yep.
And I could just remember it was just, no one would say it, but we're like, guys, if they don't buy the first time you call them, their answer would just be like, call them 5 more times until they sign up. I'm like, they're just going to block you.
Yeah.
So I literally stood up in one of these meetings. I was like, hey, is there a better way? And I would just, obviously I didn't sell my position better enough because people only listen to you if you sell your idea.
Yeah, okay.
But they follow these things. And
so in your opinion, how best would you sell a product or a service? And obviously with your hosting company, it's a service-based, company.
how to sell.
So how do you, what would you want to let the audience know about what you've taken away?
Sales?
About how best to approach sales.
That is my absolute favorite question.
Okay.
So the only reason the world turns around each day is because of marketing and sales. So it's that important. And it's just persuasion.
Okay.
There's two main ways. There might be more, but I break it down to 2 ways.
Yes.
And it's exactly the same as how people were. So back in the day, when we were like cavemen and hunters and gatherers and woolly mammoths ruled the world, a sale was them getting dinner. And they would they would get a spear, and their target was a deer or a mammoth or some animal, and they would hunt it down with a spear and they would stab it. And then they'd bring it back. That was their sale. That was how they lived. Because we sell to live. That's what we do. That's our hunting today. So as cavemen, they would go, and you get some really good hunters. Like, they could go out most days and they could spear something no matter what. Some days they'd come back with nothing. Everyone would starve for a couple of days. They'd repeat the process. It got us this far. But society didn't exponentially explode to its 8 or 9 billion people today until we learned how to farm. So obviously farming's not a fun process. It's a slow process. It's a slow burn. It's monotonous. There's probably different ways to do it. But somewhere along the lines, they said, if we plant these little seeds every day and water them and fertilize them and nurture them, and they slowly grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And what these farmers did is they got so good that they stopped hunting because they didn't have to. They didn't have to chase animals. We created settlements. Arguably, this is going off topic here, people's lives was worse when we were farmers. It shortened our lifespans by about 10, 15 years until they got their nutrition right. But that was a long time ago. But to eat properly, to create towns, cities, and nations, we had to farm. So you don't to sell, and someone's like, what is the right word to close these prospects? I don't get to the yes. But that is the wrong question. That's like, how do I hunt down the mammoth and take him down with the first step? That is the wrong question. The right question is, how do I create so much crop and abundance that as I walk out of my house, all I have to do, because of all my hard work and my planting, my cultivation, my planting, how do I just harvest limitless supplies with such a surplus that you never have to go hungry again?
Wow, so it was, you had this like abundance mentality.
You got to have an abundance mentality, because the world is abundant, by the way. There's no lack of anything, arguably. If you're living in Australia, there's not. So
we're very lucky to be in a first world country.
Exactly, we're lucked out there.
Abundant of so many resources.
But so to farm per se, if you were doing it absolutely properly, like if you're doing it, you would release, firstly, that comes back to your social media. So if you got your niche, whatever it is, your posts are talking directly to the person in your niche consistently and giving them so much value, so much water, feed, sunlight, motivation, that group that follows you, their life is better for having known you in that aspect of their life. Like whatever it is you're selling.
Okay.
And you become the go-to person. That's cultivating and watering a crop.
Yeah.
And so as they come up, so if you're a cook or a chef, if you're a chef and you're trying to sell your restaurant, keep your restaurant full, and you've got your following, and you're releasing restaurants or tips on where to get the best food from freshest markets in your city, and great specials like this week you got the top 5 restaurants in your city, which are the best places designed, the newest ones, how to get in front of the queue, how to get a booking when it's full, just whatever it takes, how to have the proper etiquette, how to become friends with your waiter and looked after the best, like whatever it is in your niche, how to make their lives better. And then when you have your offer, guys, I'm just opening up a restaurant in your city, you need to come here. They're waiting for you and they will line up.
I can see that you obviously love life, and then you make observations, not just in your area of expertise, but in other, industries like, gym, personal training, marketing for restaurants, etc. Because you bring that knowledge into your niche. Because I think they're transferable.
Yeah, it all crosses across.
It crosses over.
A sale is a sale. It doesn't matter what you sell.
Yes.
Marketing is marketing. Marketing is just psychology and it's just persuasion.
Okay.
That's all it is.
So tell the audience, how do you manage your staff members in your company? Because you started off with very humble beginnings. Being a sole trader. And eventually you scaled because you crossed over to. You first started in Brisbane. Then your focus was in Melbourne, and now you have you run events in Sydney. Brisbane. Is Queensland?
Brisbane and Queensland and Perth. Perth. So the 3 other cities plus Melbourne.
So how do you scale to that? Stage in just a couple of years.
So again, the hardest place was believing. It's actually easier done. It was super easy. The first time I did it, I found some people. I almost took the step, and then I procrastinated almost to 6 months. I was like, not ready to take this national. I was too scared. Like it hit me in my anxiety levels.
I remember you telling me that, which I remember to date, which is you wanted to run an event in Brisbane. You released the date, right? And then closer to the event time, you didn't have enough tickets sold. So you were deciding between, should you refund that ticket, or do you just believe that there will be enough clients that roll in?
Or sometimes it'll just stuff up.
Exactly. So
for tickets, by the way,
so I find that this is where it's a business call you're gonna have to make as a business owner. Right?
Yeah, for tickets, there's a method around that one.
Okay, please share with the audience that, because I feel like that's a scenario that's very likely to happen.
Oh, 100%. So what you could do for events, you have to have like a certain amount of people show up. The venue's got to be full, otherwise there's no point in running it. So if you ever run an event and closer to the date, only half, worst case scenario, half of the places are booked or sold, and you're faced with a decision. Do I refund that half, or do I just run the event with half the people and just look bad to everyone and waste their time? That is the way you could look at the way I look at it though is if you're gonna refund those hundreds of dollars or whatever it is, however much money's in it already, then that amount of cash in your mind is already written off, right? So if you're like, right, we're gonna refund $700 now, you could refund that, but if it's already gone, why not just take that $700? You're like, look, we've got 5 days to go, $700 that we refund. Let's just pump that straight back into ads. Yeah, it'll be a write-off. But that will be enough spend as a Hail Mary to fill that other half. So at the end of the day, you're not really going to walk out with any profit, but what you do is you install the confidence of everyone who does turn up, because you're known as the person who posts it, comes through to their word, and it's full. So even on the odd occasion that you might be like, all right, we're not going to really break ahead that much profit today, if you're going to just cancel and refund it and make $0, why don't you just pump all that money back in it, still run it, still make close to $0, but then you've gotten in front of a whole new group of people, you've captured all those emails, they've all met you that first time, maybe they've followed your socials, and you become the person that just comes through no matter what.
Okay, so...
So I would Hail Mary it and just dump it into ad spend. If you've already lost, you've already lost. Just lose it, but keep it.
That's a good way of looking at it. You know, I think minimize the loss, but
yeah,
roll with what you're given.
Just roll with the punches.
Because you were dealt with those set of cards.
Yeah.
Just play
exactly.
the game as the best you can. So what socials are you on? So for people that want to attend your events in future, I highly recommend that, you know, if finding the next love of your life is on the charts, on the agenda of, you know, the list of things to do, definitely check out Darcy's events.
Thank you.
So how do people find you on social media?
Yeah, on all the socials. So
Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah. Speed Dating Social.
Yep. And your company is actually, so if you were to Google, it's called Melbourne Speed Dating.
Oh, well, I didn't really have that much foresight. So when I bought my first domain, I called it Melbourne Social Events because that's where we started. If you're in a different state, just type in speed dating that. We're still ranking up in Google for it. Speed dating Sydney, speed dating Perth, speed dating Brisbane.
You know what? It's literally the first thing you see. So
still 1 or 2 clicks from the top in some of those other states, but I'll reel that back. I am reeling that back. It's just a matter of time.
Wow. So for the audience out there, what are some of the tips you could share in running an event? We've covered, for example,
like how to run or how to attend.
Let's talk about actual event on the night.
Yeah.
Right, because you're quite procedural with it. You
Mm.
know, I've sat on the sidelines to observe.
Yeah.
Right, for the purpose of our interview today.
Mm-mm-mm.
And I've noticed that you have, for example, numbered tables.
Yeah.
You would have staff on site.
Yeah.
You know, hostesses
Mm.
that tell you, that guide the clients in.
Yeah.
You know, the guys and the girls.
Yeah.
And I've observed that, you know, you make the guys move along to the table, you know,
Yeah.
or the ladies
Yeah.
gets to chill and sit in one spot.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very courteous way of doing it. You know, I mean, ladies first, right? I honestly think that should be the case. And all the girls think that's a fantastic idea, because a lot of girls, like I said, we know that all totally dressed up for the event and
Of course.
trotting around in stilettos, so they really don't want to be moving around, you know, from table to table, right? And I've also noticed that it's a timed event. So
of course.
was it 5 minutes? But 5 minutes per
Yeah, just 5
per
minutes per
candidate?
chat.
per chat. Okay, so a 5 minute point.
Yep.
You ring the bell and
And then they move on.
they move on.
Yep.
Okay, so I've also made observations that you had like a note-taking card, which is great. So on there would have the candidate's name, right, and the table number.
Oh, true. Where they'd write if they like each other.
Right.
Yes,
So and this is where the matches come in, right?
Yeah.
And you were telling me that, you know, at the beginning it was manually. So
With that
candidates
card.
will manually write down who they would wish to keep in contact with.
Yes.
You know, the guy or the girl's name down and tick a yes or a no for ongoing contact. And this is where you would, if there's a match, so if both girls and guys say yes to each other, then there's a match.
Yeah.
And this is when you would release the contact number or the email address, right?
Of course.
So have I missed anything? I think
No, that's
this
about
is
it.
one of-
So yeah, back in the day, give them a card. Who do you like? Right, Sarah, table number 7. Yes, no, da da da. As they walk through.
Okay.
These days, as we went national, we also went digital. So as they come in, just scan the QR code, pump in your details, and bang, on your phone brings up a list of the attendees that you're meeting at a speed dating event. And then it's up to you at your own leisure, just yes or no, who you would or would not like to see again after that night.
I'm glad you touched on, the digital part of it because, at the
makes
start,
life easy, makes life easy.
Yeah, I think that was something I recognised, that you first started off as being
The cards.
the old school way, manually write down. No, a lot of candidates prefer that method still.
They loved it.
Yeah, they prefer that method. So I think maybe keep both methods because I feel like a lot of people prefer to have it in front of them.
Yeah.
As a reminder. Because a lot of candidates are saying that how to remember who I spoke to.
Yeah.
And then when you have, because your events are so fully booked that you can easily get up to like 25 to 30 candidates. I've witnessed your events where you didn't even get through, not everybody even gets through everybody else.
Yeah, in 2 hours, if there's like
in a couple
60
hours.
people, it's a lot.
Right.
Well, you can pump it out for as long as you like. So go hard for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then the normal person doesn't want to keep meeting people every 5 minutes for over 2 hours. So at the 2 hour mark, you're like, right, guys, mainly for the benefit of the ladies, mind you. Okay, guys, we're at the 2 hour mark. Those that wish to go, that is the end of their booking, are welcome. But those that wish to stay, hang around and keep mingling.
So there is like even psychological theory about, the timing of it. Like I said,
100%.
how, the duration of the event, like what's comfortable and what,
Yeah.
What can people really stomach? Like seriously, like I would agree that, how long can you really talk? Even at 5 minutes per candidate, A, you're losing who's who.
Yeah.
And B, you're like, oh my goodness, I've been rehashing topics, introducing my name, blah, blah, what I do. But imagine doing that, 25 times.
Yeah.
So I think it's smart of you to think about that and go, you know what, my event is capped at 2 hours.
Exactly.
So, this is the reason why your events are successful in a lot of different angles, I think.
Thank you.
Right? And I also remember that in some of the venues that you picked, by the way, Darcy picks the best venues. They're sometimes in Melbourne CBD, eastern suburbs.
Yeah, or
Brunswick.
North Melbourne.
North Melbourne. And so you mix it up a bit.
Of course.
And that there are food catered on the night as well.
Some of
so
them.
nibblers.
Some of them.
So some events.
Some of them.
Yeah, so some events have catered nibblers, which is a nice way of also presenting, the event. So that is how Darcy runs the actual night. Yeah. So tell me where you wish to take this hosting company. Is there any upcoming, upcoming changes to the structure of your hosting company? Or do you think you'd want to, because it's so successful, that you would just want to keep it operating at the same level?
Anything that you keep the same will eventually die. So basically, unfortunately in life, you're either growing or you're dying. So you can't stay the same. Having said that, it is cruising pretty nicely at the moment. To be honest, you could take it anywhere. But personally, for in-person, for venue-based location events, it's maxing out pretty heavily at the moment. So the next venture, that's good. We'll keep it going. We'll boost it up a little bit on Google, maybe just keep it full, keep it pumping along, keep the hosts. Like, we've got a great crew around Australia, and they're all, the more events they've learned, we've had them for a long time now, they just keep getting better and better. So as those guys keep getting better, keep the people. But to be honest, the next step will be just a different venture digitally.
Okay, so would you call, let's say, I want to talk about the type of boss you are, Like, what? How would you describe your way of managing?
Yeah.
You know, are you authoritative? You know, do you like to go in and give a lot of instructions to your staff members, or are you a bit more laid back?
Look,
Like you hire someone, you fully trust them, and you just say, you know what, these are my baseline, you know, things that you must cover, but beyond that, you're happy to let them give you ideas on how they think could better the events.
Yeah, of course.
So what type of boss would you say you are?
If they're working with me to run a Melbourne event, I'm doing it my way. I'm just not fun to work for. I'm very fussed. I'm like, come on guys, we've got to move them every 5 minutes. Check him in like this. Say this to him. Because if we're dealing with groups of like 40, 50, 60 people and we got, bang, 10, 15 minutes to get everyone through the door, everyone welcomed, everyone knows what's happening, it's very hard to communicate with people. So you got to do it crisp, clear, well. And I'm very punctual, so I just keep it moving, keep it going well. Now, as far as the other states go, we have two choices. Just me pretend I'm the best at it and never hire anyone, or realize that maybe that's just my ego talking. It's not rocket science. And hey, there's definitely people in this world that are better at running stuff than me. So maybe I could just get over myself and get some help, which is what I ended up doing.
Oh, you mean like when you hired other hostesses?
Yeah, exactly, in Melbourne or other states.
Yeah.
And also, running events is brutal. It's just stuff happening from you from everywhere. And you've got like this whole group of people you're responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the venue at the top, so you got their owner, their staff.
Mm-hmm.
So are the venue happy communicating with their staff?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got all the walk-ins, the normal traffic, who might be trying to stumble into your event that you're trying to politely divert. Even if you book the space, you'll still have randoms like, what's going on here, and freaking everyone out. So you need to politely divert them to like a spot and just handle everything that's always coming at you.
Yeah.
So after running several hundred of these, I'm fine with it, but I know that it's a lot to take on board. So any of my staff in different cities, first up, it's just going to suck for a while. So no staff is going to be as good as the owner at the start. But you can definitely find better talent than yourself, and you should, because you should be working on things, not in things, if you ever want to get somewhere.
So how would you train your staff to bring it up to the level of your experience? Because I think it's well said that you were saying that when you first introduce new staff on there, they're not going to have that knowledge base because they're new.
Oh, definitely not. But I didn't have it either. You know, I started from ground zero.
Exactly.
So
you know that you give the empathy to your staff members that they probably need a little bit of guidance.
So we just got really lucky. I've got it wrong with a couple of them. Like we've chose some wrong ones. We've moved them on. We've got some great ones. And we've actually got the best crew. And the way I know it's the best crew is it might be like last Saturday, for example, I'd finished the events. I was at home. I was just chilling, couch, watching TV. And one of them just sent me a message on Messenger. Just, hey, how's the week been? Just want to say this week was really good. This is what up. Like they're almost just catching up, just letting you know how everything's going. On a Saturday night when they got no business messaging you. And all three of them messaged me on that night. And I was like, damn, you know? So I would try to touch base with them all at least once a week for a phone call because they're in a different state. So it's not like I can work with them. It's a lot harder. So firstly, you got that absolute relationship. Also, there's no such thing as like a bad, well, there might be, but it's not really like, oh, this person sucks. It flows from the top. So even if they do something wrong or whatever, who is the leader at the top? So you can't point out, but that also means you're in control. So if you're at the top, you can shape the pyramid because you're designing it down from there. So
you're saying that you take accountability.
It's always my fault.
Yes.
Always my fault. No matter what they do, it's my fault. Who chose them? Who ran the events? Who trained them?
Yes. No.
It's always up to me.
You know what? That is, I think, a very good way of running and looking and shaping the culture.
And if people
culture.
People inherently want to do well too. People are inherently good. So we all try our best. If you feel underappreciated or no one cares or no one ever showed you how, and even if you try hard, you're not appreciated, it's like, what's the point? But if someone just cares and says, look, what you matter, what you do matters, and yeah, this might be the pay, let me just pay you a bit more. Let me just say thank you. And these guys just go above and beyond, and I'm just so lucky at the moment. Like, we've like got a really good team.
Wow, okay.
So they've never missed one. They just turn up. One will message me like an hour before the event.
Yeah.
Oh, the bar looks really cool. I'm like, well, what are you doing there already? Like, he's already there, stacked it out, got it, and you know, like, crazy. They're never going to be perfect, but like, I'm so far from perfect. But so long as we've got a team, I've got us in a group chat as well.
Okay.
So we might post stuff up or share or we'll all comment because we're all scattered. But one of the most important things to human beings is we need to feel like we're part of a family or a team, because I don't know, humans are a social creature. So we need to be part of a group.
Okay. So let's wanting to know that if you need to look for staff and if you want to increase this further, what do you look for in an employee? For those of you that wants to have a part-time job, like whether you're going through uni and need some extra workout.
Like, do you mean how would a boss hire an employee, or what should an employee do to
like
get
as
hired?
in if you were to hire people, if
Me.
there is that need.
Look.
So people can DM you and reach out to.
Oh, they do all the
Melbourne
time. They do all the time.
See, there you go. So my question is, you know, like what?
I'm just lucky
what are the
though.
employees that you look for? So if anyone thinks that they have the criteria of what Darcy
Oh my gosh.
is searching for, DM.
Just do it.
DM Melbourne social.
Yeah, social events.
Social events.
So I'm really lucky that our events are actually a lot of fun. So our job is just to go to a bar, light it up, meet a bunch of people. So it's not like we're selling, it's not like we're a cleaning business and you're trying to convince people to come in and clean floors. And you're like, come on guys, let's do this. Like, you can do it, but it's harder to convince people they'll have a good time doing it. When you're looking for people to find work, if, back in the day when I found myself short of a job sometimes, so I remember asking for one job and I approached the boss at the counter, and it was a business that I could have done. It was like key cutting back then. This was like in early 20s. And I just walked to his shop. I was like, "You the owner?" "Yep, cool." And I asked him for a job. And he's like, "Look, honestly, I'm the owner. It's open 6 days and I work every one of these days. There's literally just no shifts available." But thanks for asking, is what he said to me. Now, I said, "That's cool. I completely get it. Thank you. But what I'm doing is I'm coming here tomorrow and we're going to work a shift for free together and then we're going to talk." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "Done. I'll see you back here in the morning." And I walked off before he could object. Now, the next morning, I went to the cafe that was from his place. So it was a pretty easy guess. I just said, "Hey, that business there, what coffee does this owner buy?" And I always remember, they're like, "Oh, he gets a large cappuccino every morning." I was like, "I'll have one, thanks." And I beat this dude in by like over an hour to his shop. And then when it got closer, I had his cappuccino waiting at the front. And he came to unlock his shop. And I was like, "Here you go." And I just didn't take the no for an answer. So I did that a second time for a gym as well. I once went for a managed position in a gym. And the owner told me a similar story. "Oh, thank you so much. Your resume looks good. We've had a couple of applicants. Tell you what, going through in a couple of weeks, then I'm going to give calls back." I said, "Not a problem. I'll come back here and work tomorrow with you for free." He's like, "I'm not sure about that." I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I'm sure I can clean something. Let's go." And I pulled the same trick. There was a cafe next to this gym. I was like, "Does the gym owner buy coffees?" "Why, yes, he does." Beat him in, have it waiting. Let's go. So
Proactive. So guys, I think the takeaway I got there is don't take no for an answer. Be persistent. If you're really passionate about it, you know, reach out to the managers, the owners of the business out there if you're really keen for that role.
Steven Spielberg.
Okay, you're going to quote now.
I'm pretty sure it's this guy. So I could have my facts wrong, but also it's your job to eat and devour as much motivational content as you can physically handle every single day.
Okay.
I'm not saying I do. I read a few books. I was reading Andrew Carnegie's book last night. He's a very inspiring dude as well. So Steven Spielberg, dream work position. He wanted to make like movies, right? And it's quite hard to become a movie director. It's pretty sought after position, pretty locked off back in the day before socials, before internet. You had to play ball for the production companies, or that was it. It was like the news. You're a presenter or you're not on camera. You couldn't just make your own channel. But he turned up and he got this caravan, so the story goes, and he spray painted his name on it. He had a briefcase, and he basically just walked really confidently past the security guards. He's just like, hey, and they was just like, oh, hey. And he just went straight through. And he just looked like he was supposed to be there. And what he did was, he went on to different sets. And you'd have the stage producers, presenters, getting props ready. And he'd just be going around, all right, who's getting coffee, gets them, gets that, what's up, and he'd be helping move stuff. And somebody else would be sweeping. He'd grab a broom, push him out the way, keep sweeping. And this dude just stayed on it for like almost a year. And no one realized that he wasn't actually meant to be there. And he wasn't getting paid. He just kept turning up. And on all these sets where he was helping out and just being the most helpful person ever, he got to make friends with the directors. And after a while, he made friends with them. He was so helpful. And they're like, who are you? He's like, oh yeah, I help around here, but I've actually got some ideas of some plays, like some screens. These are my scripts. This is what I want to direct. And he gave that to the directors. And that's how he got on there. So a lot of people will be like, oh, I applied for it. They said, no, I did a trial. I tried it once. But the guys that want to do it, you just do it.
So don't think twice. Have an idea and just go for it, right?
But also,
I call it just Nike. Nike's slogan is just do it, and
again,
I think it's a good way to look into.
But asking how do I get a job? There's nothing wrong with people who work for a job. Is your actual question? Your question is not how do I get a job. Your question is how do I make money. That is your actual question. A job is just a vehicle, and it's an ineffective vehicle. It's like riding a horse. Working for someone else is like riding a horse. Yes, it will get you there, but the horses get slow. It needs to be fed. It needs to have a break. It gets tired. It can only get up to like 15, 20 k's an hour, and that's why we swapped horses out for cars, trains, and spaceships. So they can't fly. So if you want to hit the moon and you're riding a horse to get to work, you need to hop out of that and get into a rocket. And that is starting your own business. So like Nike, just do it. He also had no idea. Phil just asked his dad, he's like, Dad, I've seen Japan selling wholesale shoes, Tigers. I reckon there's a market in America. Can I just have $500? He asked him and his dad when he was watching his TV. His dad was in watching TV. He's in a really good mood. You know when your parents are like, when someone's in a good mood and you ask them for something and they're like, yeah, let's go. But if you ask for someone when they're having a bad day, like, hey, what's this? And they're like, no, go away. So he caught his dad in a good mood. His dad gave him $500 US. This is like back in the day, 1970, 1980, whenever it was that he got started. And he took that to Japan and he bought a bunch of these $3.50 Tiger shoes. And Phil Knight got his running coach as well, but just started selling these Nikes out the back of his boot. So the question isn't how do I get a job, it's how do I make money? And the question is how do I start a business or help people in the most effective way? And it's not even how do I do that, it's just keep doing it until you work it out. That is the question.
So don't be afraid to be rejected.
Oh, it's a given. You're going to get rejected and it's going to fail 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 and it's going to fail. But one of the times it'll work, and it only has to work once.